and hope it brings a smile to your face. I know for myself, when things get crazy in the world, it's very easy for me to feel disempowered because I'm a self-admitted control freak. So when I can't take control of what is happening outside of myself, I know for me and for most folks, it's very easy to feel really, really disempowered and be in a state of despair or overwhelm or uncertainty, even fear, all of that. And I think it's very, very important to take control of the very one thing that we do have control over. And that is how we choose to see all of this and the kind of meaning we want to give to it all. And so I wanted to share 3 quotes with you from Viktor Frankl, who's the author of Man's Search for Meaning, one of the books that I read many, many years ago and has always been a favorite of mine. And I'd love to know how you feel about these 3 quotes, and if you feel inspired to put them and their wisdom into place in your life during these times. So I'm going to share the first one with you, which is everything can be taken away from a man but one thing. The last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances and to choose one's own way. I love that quote. Every time I get in a situation where I feel myself judging that situation, and I know that by judging that situation to be bad or horrible or terrible or whatever I have in my mind, I'm going to get upset. I take a step back because I don't want to feel upset. I don't want to feel that way. I can choose to feel another way. I can choose to feel and stay in a state of compassion or love. I don't have to feel freaked out. So that quote is really one of my favorites. One of my second favorite quotes from Viktor Frankl is this: when we're no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And I really love that. I feel it's so, so, so powerful. And it also brings us back to that same perspective about looking within and changing. The only thing that we can change is the way we see something, right? So this is really, to me, a very, very empowering quote and has such a powerful lesson behind it. And here's the last one, also similar to the first 2. Between stimulus and a response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. And for me, this quote, well, it brings this up for me. If every time I perceive something, dramatic in the world, I get upset, all it does is create a contraction in me. I'm not free. I'm being victimized by what's happening outside of me, and I'm allowing that to happen. Okay? So if I get pulled into the drama of everything that's going on right now, and I allow myself to get upset, then I'm no longer free. I am being controlled by something external to me. And that is not acceptable to me anymore. Once I started to understand what that meant on the deepest level, I started to step back and really think about that, because I don't want to be a victim of anything in my life. I had my share of that years ago, But then I drew a line in the sand and I said, no more. I don't want to be a victim of anything external to me. Am I perfect at this every day? Probably not, but I can do my best, right? I can do my best to follow that rule and say, okay, I do not want to behave this way. So in these situations when the media is going crazy and there's so much hype and, we're going to die and the world's going to come to an end and all of this, I get to step back and say, my freedom and my personal growth is most important to me. I don't want to feel like every time something is said on TV or in the press, that I have to get upset about it and lose my freedom and feel victimized by it. I don't want to do that anymore. So I so love this quote in saying, in our response lies our growth and freedom. So this is a challenge, what's happening right now is not just a challenge to not get a virus. To me, this is a challenge in our personal growth and in our personal freedom. Can you use this situation to take a step ahead, to go someplace you haven't gone before? If you've always been very reactive to what is external to you, maybe this is the opportunity, because of course you can choose to see this any way you like, right? Choose this time and use it to go beyond those old patterns, those old behavior patterns, and say, no, I want my freedom. If I'm going to feel a certain way, I'm in charge of what I feel. I don't want to be reactive to what's external to me. So we all have that choice to make. We do it all day long, every single day, to smaller things, of course. It could be getting cut off when we're driving and we get upset and mad and start cursing at that person. That's the same thing. In that moment, we're making a choice to get angry by somebody else because of someone else's behavior, and we're victimizing ourselves. So there's no freedom in that when all you are is reacting every day, all day long, to everything that's happening external to you. So you have a choice. We all do. Do we decide how we want to feel and how we want to proceed in these situations? Or do we give up our personal freedom and not use this as a time to expand our personal growth, our spiritual growth, and do our inner work? Because I think every time a situation comes like this, it's just one more growth opportunity. Like life is one big growth opportunity. And when I see it that way, it lets me put things in a different perspective and just lets me see the world in a different way. It allows me to show up and be more present and help others to just get clarity about what's going on for themselves, to inspire them. I want to be a leader, not disempowered. And I want to use this to expand my personal freedom and my personal growth. And I hope you feel the same way. I'm very curious what you think about this. Please, please, please share below and tell me. Maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe you agree. But I'd love to hear about it. So don't be afraid to share. And I'm sending you all my love during these times. We're going to get through this. It's going to be okay. And whether it takes a few months, 6 months, or who knows how long it will take, we're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. It will. And love is the way to make that happen. Love and help and support and inspiration and just being there for each other right now. So I love you all. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing what you post below. Bye, everyone. Love you.